You guys ever wanted to use your old Quest 2 as a full body tracker? Also, its controllers? Well, you can, and I'll show you how to. And I'll tell you why everything looks the way it does with these controllers, all tacky and stuff. But yeah, let's get to it actually. Alright, so before the video starts, make sure you are an Oculus developer and you can sideload apps onto your Quest. If you don't know how to, you can search up how to become an Oculus developer. And yeah, so just make sure you're a developer first. And you also have SideQuest. SideQuest is an app that allows you to um, just sideload APKs onto your Quest. So we're gonna start here. This is gonna be the first link. This is what makes everything work. You'd install it, virtual motion tracker setup. You'd go to your downloads folder, of course, and you double click it. I've already set it up, but this is what it's gonna look like. When you open it for the first time, it's gonna look like this. It's going to also open SteamVR alongside of it. If it does not, for some really weird reason, make sure SteamVR opens up. Like, open SteamVR if it does not open it. And there's going to be an install button. The install button's green. You're going to press it. It's going to install stuff into SteamVR. And it's going to say, SteamVR is going to say it needs to restart for an update. All I recommend doing is do not press restart. Just exit out, press the X. And exit out of both of these, and you're good for now. So next, you want to click onto this second link. This is going to be link 2. Remember, this is going to be link 1. This is going to be link 2. So you're going to download this APK and install it onto your Quest. This is what's going to send all the tracking points, like the headset itself and the controllers, to VMT, and then VMT is going to make it trackers in SteamVR. So you're going to obviously sideload this through SideQuest or whatever your preferred app is. And then I'll tell you how to use all this stuff. When you're finished sideloading the app, then you can look at this next part, which is this. So, I don't need to read this stuff, I already know this stuff, but here's how you follow it. So, you would want to first open a UDP port. This is the only thing I'm going to translate. You're going to open a UDP port. This one. Sorry, you're going to open this one. But if you don't know how to, then you can search up a video on how to. Just remember to use these numbers, and it's UDP and not TDP. I think so. But yeah, once you're done with that, and I'll provide a video in the link on how to open a UDP port, you go back to your Quest. You open the sideloaded app on your Quest, and it should look like this. It should look like this when you open the sideloaded app. It's going to show IP, port, and sends. Now, you're only going to mess with the IP address. You're going to get rid of this whole thing. Get rid of, like, clear it out. You can you can click on it with your controller and clear it out. And then you're going to go to your PC and you're going to put Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. Okay, and then it's going to show this. You're going to want to select hardware properties. Now, I'm not going to show mine because it has my IP address and stuff, but when you see yours, look for IVP4 address, and it's going to be an IP address. You're going to copy that IP address into here. And make sure it's right or else it won't work, but yeah, copy into here. Sorry. Leave the port alone, leave the sends alone. Next up, before you press start, you want to look to the side. It's going to be slightly to the right. It's very obvious. There's this little menu right here. You're going to want to turn these two on the bottom off. Only the one on the top. If you want to know why, then I'll try to make this as quick as I can. You can pause the video right here. This is what explains it. These two are just not good. But smooth mode is good enough. And yeah, so then you'd press start. You'd press start. Assuming you did everything right, you'd press start. So now, this is the part where I kind of forgot to mention you also need a play space calibrator. It's super important. That's what you need to get this stuff all kind of paired together in a way. Like, it'll be in SteamVR, but it won't be in your space unless you use this, and I'll tell you how to use it. But yeah, you'd then open SteamVR. SteamVR should open. And when SteamVR is open, you'd want to also open VMT. Forgot to mention that. And everything should look like this, kind of. It should look like this. Now, Assuming everything was right, you should see a bunch of question marks, like 3 question mark trackers. I'm going to now turn on the Quest and like have it connected, like the app is on the Quest, and it'll show up right now. There we go, VMT, VMT, and VMT. Now these are going to be question marks instead of VMT, because they're not like in our space yet, but in order to put them in the space, you'd press room setup, and then you'd press set room matrix. It's a big green button, it will be green. And if it's not green and it's the same thing as you see here, but you never ever press the button, then press reset room matrix and now 100% do it. And they'll all turn into VMG. That's when you know they're working. So, now you have trackers and stuff, but how do we calibrate it so it's with us within our space? You'd go to Play Space Calibrator, and you'd have your reference space as whatever. Like, it can be, if you have an Index or a Vive, it should be SteamVR tracking. If you have an Oculus thing, it should, I don't know, maybe say Oculus. But yeah, mine, I have a Vive personally. So I'd have my Vive tracking. Target space is always going to be virtual motion tracker, and you're always going to calibrate with VMT0. Do not use 1, do not use 2, VMT0, and only that, because these two are the controllers, and you never calibrate the controllers separately. You only calibrate the headset, because the controllers follow along. It'll make sense when you actually do it. Now, I'm going to have my Vive controller on, so give me a moment. So my controller is on. This is the controller that I use to, play my games with. So I would take the headset, which is VMT0, make sure it's selected, and you have your controller. And this is kind of hard to explain, but just try to listen carefully. You're going to have the controller on the headset, like touching each other, and hold them like both tightly together, and then do a figure of, before doing that, you're going to want to press start calibration and then have those two together, the controller and the headset, and then do a figure of 8 in the air. Like a figure of 8, literally. And then when that's done, it should say like calibration finished, and it should show up in your hand. Your Quest should be a tracker that's within your space, like right there. Never calibrate these two, like I said. The controllers will follow along. It will also teleport with the Quest. And yeah, that's how you do it. Now, the last thing is mounting it onto your body. There is really no clear answer on how to do it. This dude did it a certain way. I personally did not do it his way, but I will provide a picture of how I have mine. I have it on the Crocs. It looks pretty bad, but I'm gonna redo it because it was kind of temporary. I took it off and I put it back on. I also have a belt. It's like tightened in a circle. It's hard for me to explain, but it's like I, I don't know. It's tightened in a circle. I put it and I slip it from my feet all the way up to my waist, and then I'd slip the headset into the belt, and it pushes the headset into, I guess, my hip. It sounds uncomfortable, but it's not really for me. But yeah, it will just hold the headset down, and sometimes I'd have to adjust it on the side so it doesn't like fall off. But yeah, this is how they did it. You can feel free to pause the video if you want. But yeah, that should be all. If you have any questions or if it just doesn't work, just let me know. But yeah, that should be all. Hopefully it works out, and I'm sorry if this video was bad. It's my first one, so I don't know, I hope it's okay. If you found this helpful, then you can like it or subscribe to it. If you didn't, then you don't have to. I'm just here to help. But have a good one.